like King James. Like King James.
Sounds like it is straight from the motherfucking cassette.
I hate when you get to a point in your career where people feel like they got you figured out and there's no more surprises. I like people to press play on my stuff and still be surprised.
Turn it up, baby. No introduction necessary, yo. Hey, yo. Okay. Hey, yo. Son.
Two, one.
Boys, going on today, everybody? How are you guys doing? listen, we're here this February 1st. We made it a whole month on this Manic Monday. We had some plans, but instead it's Manic Monday because I decided to wear my jersey. I'm living in the past. You know what I'm saying? I'm represent. Atlanta Reign, rise up. You know what I'm saying? Atlanta Reign gang, rise up. Even though there's probably not many fans. From what I've seen, there's a lot of haters of the Atlanta Reign squad. I don't know why that is. I mean, you kind of can tell why, I suppose. Like, there is some logical reasonings behind it. But anyways, welcome on this Manic Monday on this February 1st, 2021. We're here live. It's my dog's birthday. So happy birthday, Anna. Happy birthday, Anna. Yeah.
What are you going to do?
It's Anna's birthday. I don't know yet. We'll figure something out. We'll figure something to do. But before we do that, guys, obviously I need to talk about what happened over the weekend. Some big stuff happened over the weekend, but more importantly, I'll give you an update on all the esports. Basically, Immortals won the NAVCT qualifiers in America, so that means the Immortals squad, the team that just sold over the LA Valiant squad, won the VCT qualifiers to get the number 1 seed placing. Cloud9 beat 100 Thieves to then make the lock-in tournament finals, but then lost to Team Liquid in the best-of-5 series, going the entire 5 games. That was exhilarating to watch. Cloud9's match against 100 Thieves was also awesome to watch, but more importantly, it's cool to see that Team Liquid is back on top, baby. Liquid is back to being the best team in fucking LCS. That's awesome to see. 100 Thieves probably should have been that finals instead of Cloud9, but at the same time, you know, we can't really look back on the past because guess what? They lost. They lost big. And also in Overwatch, in the Nexus Cup, Seoul Dynasty lost the Shanghai Dragons in the grand finals since beating them the week prior. Then coming up to it, we're expected to beat that game, to win the game against Dallas Fuel. But then the next day, they lost, also after losing to Dallas Fuel, lost the Shanghai Dragons in a way more convincing fashion, I dare say so. So that was the match of the weekend. That was a little bit of a recap. If you guys like that segment, it's kind of a small one, to be honest. It's kind of a small segment, but that's the pretty much roundabout way of saying that the weekend was pretty interesting. That was an awesome weekend for esports, and I think as the year goes on, things will kind of progress and get a little bit more interesting for us. But to talk about more important things, to talk about more of the topics that are more of our headlines for this week, guys, there's a few things going on. Gamersupps has had some issues. Gamersupps has had their own problems. Has had some massive problems with their own dilemma, with their own drama. Apparently, they've had some problems not paying out, sponsorship opportunities, affiliates, and stuff like that. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about if age should actually matter in esports. A FIFA player that's the age of 14 from Denmark talks about that it shouldn't in a recent article that got some public press. So we'll talk about that as well. And then also another article by the games industry talks about how 50% of esports watchers bet on esports. Is that true? We'll talk about that in just a little bit, and if you should bet on esports and sports books getting into esports and stuff like that, we'll talk about that. There's also the Twitter Hot Take segment is back for today. Scream says that Valorant is actually easier to aim than Counter-Strike, which kind of makes sense, right? It kind of makes sense that it's a little bit easier to aim with the slower movements and everything like that. We'll talk about that later, see our opinion on that. And then also, New York Times has stated that America stinks at video games. They said, quote unquote, on the title, America stinks at video games. Is that true? A lot of people would say yes, but also, myself included, I think we would talk about the other games that Americans are actually good at. We'll mention that later. And then also, a streamer was banned for writing the names of donors on her chest, literally on her chesticles. She wrote one of her top donors on her damn chest and got banned and was surprised and was upset at the live stream fails community. We'll talk about that as well later today. And then after that, guys, our special guest, FishStix, formerly of Twitch and now CEO of Juked, is going to be on later at 4 p.m. PST. So we got a lot of awesome topics to talk about today, guys. And the one that I want to talk about, more importantly, by the way, welcome Anthony and Max to the show, is the Gamersupps drama, guys. I can give a little bit of a rundown before we show Anthony and Max on screen. We'll talk about that one here, boys. Basically, what happened is TDLR or TLDR, a streamer known as That Ice Rocket, didn't get paid for a sponsorship opportunity. She tried to set up a brand deal, basically, where she created a shirt and shaker combo, basically a shirt being obviously a shirt. The shaker is basically this cup where you put in your juices. You put in your Gamersupps juice, I suppose, with some water. You pour in the water first, you put the Gamersupps in second, then you close the lid and you shake that shit up, and that's what the shaker is. It obviously doesn't look like this. This is what the thing that it's in is, though. It's basically just a cup. It's just a cup that has some shit in it. And they basically set up a deal where on the shaker cup and on the shirt, it would say 1v1 my dick, which to me, I mean, I guess that's a good idea. I don't really know. Regardless of how good the idea is, which I think it's all right. I mean, first of all, I guess it's ironic because she's a girl and she doesn't actually have a penis. So maybe that's the joke there. Is that you could say 1v1 my dick. I don't know that. You're right. I don't know that. I'm sorry. I don't know if she has a dick or not. I apologize if she does. Okay, if she has a dick, I apologize to her and her penis. Hopefully she doesn't have erectile dysfunction like the majority of men in America. And I think, to be honest here with Gamersupps, I don't know if it creates erectile dysfunction. Now, listen, I'm not trying to create a narrative that it does, but the shirt actually said 1v1 my dick. And on that, it basically, she was okay with it, right, guys? So basically, she talked about how she was going to create the sponsorship opportunity. She was like, okay, we're going to do this. And she didn't get paid for it. She basically just did all this branding, all of this like post, all this modeling for this company, for Gamersupps, with the shirt that said 1v1 my dick and the shaker cup and stuff like that. And then she got word that person she was working with wasn't working there anymore, basically. They weren't working anymore. So the person she was working with that got the sponsorship opportunity wasn't actually working there. So then it got a little confusing because it's like, okay, I'm not working with the person that, got me on the first place, right? So after that, she pretty much was in contact with them and then noticed that they actually released the shaker and the shirt on the store. And she was like, okay, what the fuck, guys? I'm not getting paid for this, What's going on? And she was getting mad. She was like, okay, please remove this shit because I'm not getting paid because you've been releasing this shit for years or for months without me pretty much saying you can't. And then they were like, okay, we'll remove it. And then fast forward months later, they re-released it again, but with a different logo, basically. So it said 1v1 my dick, but it had like an eggplant instead of the whole, like, it had like, the original one had like a lock basically with an X on it. And she was like, they were like, okay, this is the same fucking design. She like told the CEO over Discord DM, she's like, this is literally my design, but with a different logo. And the owner was like, by the way, it looks different. This looks different to me. And like, she was like, what do you mean? This is my fucking logo and my saying. Like, they basically just copied it.
Is that her thing on her streams and stuff? Or she just
I don't know. I can't say I watch Ice Rocket's stream or anything like that. Listen, I'm sure she's a fantastic streamer or whatever. But, it's kind of funny. Listen, it's not, nothing here is, the point being is that it doesn't have to be funny or not. It's just that literally they were selling this design. They were profiting off of it. And Eric, the CEO of Gamersupps, in response to her was like, hey, we got you ad revenue. We were like, we got you people on your stream through our Gamersupps content, basically, or through what they do with Gamersupps. And it's like, that's not really how it works. Like, you don't fucking get ad revenue or get people watching your stream because of Gamersupps. Like, they're the fucking product, right? Like, there's no way that they're trying to blame her or say that, like, publicity, this is free publicity, by the way. Like, is pretty much their response. It's just stupid.
It should work the other way around, right? I thought.
Yeah, you don't get sponsored by a company for this shit, man.
So, did she never sign anything?
No, so yeah, apparently according to her, I think that she had there was nothing on the Twitter article that said she signed anything. So she actually didn't. Now listen, this could be incorrect. I could be totally wrong, and I'm sorry. I'm just basing this off of what I saw on the Twitter article, that she didn't actually sign anything. But there was other reports from a YouTube video I watched. I don't remember the guy's name exactly, but there was a YouTube video where he talked about how Gamersupps as a company has not been paying people out. Is pretty much the common complaint is Gamersupps is actually like 50% or like a lot of people aren't getting paid by this company. That's like kind of going out of the way to do this shit.
So it's just a shitty
company
company
on this show.
Yeah, no, we're absolutely not going to work with Gamersupps. There's no fucking way we work with a shitty ass company like that. That absolutely just takes like no regard for human life and other creators and stuff like that. It's just actually stupid.
What they do
like,
to the African children.
No. What do you mean, man?
No, that's untrue. They do not do anything to African children.
Where did that come from, Max?
But it's pretty obvious, like that this is like one of her, I guess not registered trademarks, but it's her like
it's
thing.
Obviously
It's her
hers.
motto.
It's
and then
fucking
they just
hers.
take it and then like in the supplement branding, 1v1 my dick makes no sense at all.
No, like, yeah, what do you say, 1v1 my dick? I mean, it like, kind of has, it's just like gamer talk, I guess, is their point. I
Is
don't
it
know.
even?
I don't know. Like, it should be cringy to everybody else that's not in the Ice Rocket community, basically.
Yeah, like the only reason
you're
why
right.
you should buy 1v1 my dick cups is probably because you're a fan,
If you're her fan.
fan of her.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know.
They're like, oh, it's a cool design, bruh. I'm going to steal it, by the
I
way.
put
And
an
it's just like, this
eggplant
happens.
on it. It's
Just
different.
put an eggplant on it. It's different, guys. No,
I think
no,
that's
you
how
can't be that
copyright
fucking.
works.
No, they're just stupid. Eric's cop out basically, Max, was like, he said, he's like, I didn't make the design. So I'm not going to, he was like, I didn't make the design, I just like it, is what he said. And it's just kind of like a pretty stupid scenario. People are upset. Gamersupps is known for not actually paying out their, not employees, but their contracts and stuff like that, and other people and affiliates that work with them. And yet they're still a big company. And it seems like some of these supplement companies are not exactly ideal, but maybe we would work with a good one. You know what I'm saying? This is maybe a hint for the future. Maybe we would work with a company that actually, has a good product and maybe also promotes, good things with their partnerships and shit like that. Maybe we would work with that. I wanted to talk about something that was a little bit more personal to me since we're on this topic. I wanted to talk about, oh my God, my phone just made a sound effect. What the hell, dude? Unprofessional ass show, bro. Basically, I just wanted to talk so I don't know if you guys are aware of gamer supplements, right? Okay, so this whole topic is kind of interesting because gamer supplements, people think they have to take them, right? You're like, I have to take G Fuel. I have to take this other thing. When ideally you don't. You know what I mean? I think, okay, there is, I think we talked about this. We'll have Doctor Who on this week as well, HP for Gamers. We'll have him on this week to talk about this again. But I kind of wanted to talk about the different variables, the different things that you can take to be a professional gamer. A professional pro player or whatever. I feel like gamer is kind of a cringy word to say, so I'm sorry if people cringe at that. I understand. But it's what other word would you say for gamer? It's I don't have another word to say for gamer, at least one that I can come up with. But it's people always debate, what do I need to take to be a professional player? Do I need to take Adderall? Do I need to take something to fucking improve my gameplay? Probably not. You could honestly, without supplements, without any sort of caffeine, without any Adderall, without any cocaine or whatever else you want to fucking add to that list, you could probably make it as a professional gamer without those. You could probably be a top tier player if you ate McDonald's every day and drank water 24/7. You could honestly do whatever diet you want. If you're going to be a pro player, you're probably going to be a pro player. If you're not destined to be a pro player, you're probably not destined to be a pro player. I'm sorry, that's just how it works. But I can kind of give you a ranking on each of these supplements that I've taken in the past that I've tried to increase my gameplay. Because as you know, guys, if you're a professional player, you're going to do whatever it takes to be a top tier player. You're going to do whatever it takes to make it to the top, to give you the extra 10% boost that you wouldn't get before. You would honestly, I even would. When I noticed my decline or whatever, when I noticed I wasn't playing as well, I kind of was looking for excuses. And I was like, what, why am I not playing good? Whatever. And I just realized it was probably me playing bad, but I was always like, okay, is there something I could take? Is there something I could do to improve my game? And for the most part, the answer is probably not. But there's things that oh my God, that'll give you a slight edge. Sorry, I need a drink. Basically, there's a few things that you could take. The first one that I tried to do, because I was never into coffee, the first one that I did at the very beginning of my career was honestly fucking this shit. Was the good old Dew. Now listen, I'm not sponsored by Mountain Dew. Although listen, if Mountain Dew wants to sponsor me, Mountain Dew, please sponsor me. I'm looking for a sponsor. Mountain Dew, please. I love your drink. I would gladly get. This is my lifelong goal, is to get sponsored by Mountain Dew. So please, PepsiCo, sponsor me. Anyways, basically, we talked about this before. I would always go after high school when I was trying to go professional in Counter-Strike. I would always go after school, basically. So my house is about, I want to say, a mile and a half away from the school, I think. Where Anthony, or Max, how far away from school were you in high school?
3 miles. 2 miles.
3 miles? So I was more like a 1.5 to 2 miles, I guess, from school. But we talked about this the other day, where I would basically, right after high school, would just walk to the Circle K that was right next to our school. And I would get the big, 64 ounce of Mountain Dew. And I would bring that back home basically every day, for I don't know for how long, for basically a year straight. And I would just drink this shit, and it'd be my caffeine, it would be my sugar, all in one drink, basically. And it would give me what I needed to go. But it's at the same time, when I was doing this, when I was drinking Mountain Dew, this regularly, I was literally, 18, 17? I think I was 17 at the time because I'm younger than most people in our class. So I was like 17 at the time. Like, this isn't going to have like an impact on me when I was like 17 years old. Over time, if you drink as much soda as I did, no matter what soda it is, that shit's going to fuck up your stomach. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the time, it really gave me an improvement. But it's over time has really fucked up my acid reflux. Like, nowadays, my acid reflux is a little bit fucked up, to be honest. It's not necessarily due to Mountain Dew. It's due to the fact that it's soda in general, honestly, is just not good for you. I mean, people know this. People already hear this like a shit ton. Like, I get it. But it actually did improve my gameplay. Like, I'm not going to lie. Without Mountain Dew, so what I would do is I drink the Mountain Dew like at the start of my session, and I'd feel amped up. I'd feel energized. When I started to feel tired about 3 hours in, because I wouldn't drink the whole thing in one sitting, I would sip on it again. I'd sip on it some more, you know what I'm saying? So, like, it'd be like over the course of the day, I was sipping on it to kind of give me, sugar spikes / like caffeine spikes, which it's probably more sugar that was honestly affecting me because I don't think caffeine has that much sugar, or Mountain Dew has that much sugar in it. But like, it was giving me spikes throughout the day. Or sorry, caffeine. I'm sorry.
Good.
It doesn't have that much caffeine. It has a lot of sugar. Thank you, Max. You fucking caught that. I'm easy.
I was gonna say if it has not that much sugar, I don't know what you're drinking.
No, yeah, unless it was Diet Mountain Dew or something like that, which they do have. Diet Mountain Dew, Diet Bahu Blast. We're also gonna do a Mountain Dew special next week probably, or this week. We'll see. Anyways, I wouldn't recommend it necessarily, but it did help me. Like, it honestly did help me. I think on a scale of 1 to 10 of where it helped me, guys, I think I would probably, like, for general impact on the game, it's like very slight. It's like not that much, but from a scale of 1 to 10, I think I would give it a 7. It's not good. It's not bad. Like, it was just kind of like the sugar was helping more than anything, because I was a kid. My fucking body absorbs that shit. I get hyped up. I get energized, and it would help me play longer. Like, if I wasn't drinking Mountain Dew, to be honest with you, I probably wouldn't have been able to play as long as I was. Like, I don't know if you guys can attest to it. Like, when you drink Mountain Dew, or at least as a kid, do you think that it gave you, like, an energy spike, or would at least give you, like, sustained energy, or did you always feel like you'd crash?
I felt nothing.
I don't know, probably.
Yeah, but you've never felt anything, Anthony. Do you even feel alive right now? Like, come on, man. Like, you literally don't even feel alive at this very moment. So how can we tell you what the hell, how can you tell us what affects people, Anthony, huh?
I feel most alive when I see the line go down when I look at GME.
Why do you bring that up, man? Why do you have to bring GM up right now? Everybody's talking about GME, and you fucking bring up this shit.
You're talking about
like it's not affecting people's lives.
You're talking about when
there
I
are
feel
people
things.
Dying.
I see the line go down, my heart drops along with it.
Well, this is your fucking fault for not getting on Dogecoin as early as I did and really joining us on that wave. Anyway, let's not get on this fucking goddamn. Let's not get on this tangent, okay? We're going down slippery slopes by talking about GME, okay? Yeah. But like, okay, to be honest, Mountain Dew is like a 7 for me on terms of impact. And then later on in my career, I moved because obviously I wanted something that was like a little bit less impactful, a little bit less like damaging to my system. Which then I moved to G Fuel. And, G Fuel was, like, good, to be honest. Like, I didn't have any qualms with G Fuel. Like, it tasted good. It went down good. By getting down good, I mean, like, it was just easy to drink. It doesn't have, I don't know how many calories are in it, but I don't think it has that many calories at all, if any. My only problem with it is that it doesn't, like, I think that there's, like, probably some iron or something with it that kind of spooked me. Like, there's some shit with it, like, they're ingredients that kind of scared me a little bit. I don't know how to explain it. Listen, I don't want to potentially ruin any sponsorship opportunities in the future, which I probably am by talking about this. But my biggest concern with this kind of shit with supplements and stuff is that I'm like, is it safe to consume? Is this shit actually going to kill me in the long term? Which, if I drank it every day, 24/7, probably yes. But it did give me a boost. It did give me energy. It did a better job, to be honest, than Mountain Dew in terms of that, like, overall. But I think the cost was a little bit high. Everything was, like, the cost for the actual containers were a bit high. It just wasn't really doing it for me in terms of giving me my performance, like my bang to my buck, Like, once we ran out, and we just like, all right, whatever, So it's like, overall, I wouldn't rank G Fuel much higher than like a soda, like a caffeinated soda or whatever. Like, I think I would give it an 8, like a 7.5 out of 10. I was going to say 8, but probably a 7.5 out of 10 in terms of performance. Like I said, you don't need to do any of this stuff. But caffeine, Doctor Who talked about it before. Caffeine is directly like a correspondent with actually performing better in reaction time and stuff like that. Like, there's legit science behind caffeine. Working out, playing video games, caffeine generally gives you a boost. I feel like most humans know this. Like, most humans know that caffeine will give you a performance boost before I take caffeine before I start the stream. I take caffeine before I start the show. You know, it's like a normal thing. It's a normal thing. But it's which way you take it for gamers that matters most. One of them was so I think that was like a 7.5 out of 10. Caffeine pills didn't really work for me. I wasn't taking them right. But I ordered caffeine pills off of Amazon, which are like these little pills. I think they're in like 200 milligram tablets. But it's not really worth it for the prices from what I've seen. And then on top of that, you could potentially take too much. Like I was stupid. Like I said, I was like 19, 18 at the time when I was taking the caffeine pills to try them out. And the results I got was just like, I was way too jittery. It made my heart fucking feel weird because there was no sugar on it as well. So it was like randomly I get this random boost of caffeine, but there was no sugar to coast me into it basically. Like in my head, I don't know if the science actually backs this up, but it's like when I drink a Mountain Dew, I'm like, okay, the sugar is going to carry me for a little bit. It's going to give me that fucking spike. You know what I'm saying? And then the caffeine kind of carries me out, you know? Whereas when I took caffeine pills, it was like, okay, I'm down here, boom, fucking shoots up. And then then I'm at a high and my heart's fucking pumping. Like way too much caffeine's in my system, but I didn't get carried over from sugar. Whereas it feels like if I, had a sugar like to kind of transfer me over to the caffeine, then I would feel it a little bit better, if that makes sense. Am I sounding just like an idiot right now, Max and Anthony?
No.
I just kind of, in my head, the caffeine pills weren't working as well.
When I think of caffeine pills, I think of Anthony.
Anthony, why?
Uh-oh.
Oh, you're muted.
He's muted.
Oh, he's muted again for us. You goddamn moron.
There's sounds going on. I'm sorry. I got to mute for those.
There is.
But,
yeah, it makes sense.
I'd really rather not talk about what the caffeine pills did to my body.
No. Come on, Anthony. Don't be a bitch.
It's similar to what happened today.
Oh, no.
It really put me on the toilet.
It sent you to the fucking gulag.
Yeah, it's not good. I can't do it. I don't like caffeine
Did you feel
pills.
like it? Did it give you like the impact that we were talking about? Like, did it give you like a boost?
Oh, it boosted something out.
Okay, you heard it here first. Don't take caffeine pills. It makes you absolutely go to the toilet forever.
They do not.
Like,
help
that's
me.
what I'm saying. It has the potential to absolutely fuck your day up, to be honest. I mean, maybe if you get used to it. I know Funny Astro takes caffeine pills. I don't know if he still does. Funny Astro, the support player for the Philly Fusion in the Overwatch League. He takes caffeine pills, I think. And he's fucking cracked out of his mind, like, every day. Like, I think that's just who he is, though. Like, to be honest, like, Funny Astro is just very much so, like, a high-energy guy. So maybe, like, besides the caffeine, it doesn't impact him in that way. But I can't say they're bad. Like, it's just direct caffeine. It's literally just an actual, powdery substance of caffeine. So you can only rate that as high as you're going to rate any fucking supplement, I guess.
It's like one pill's 1 cup of coffee, right? Or
No, it's more than that. The pills on Amazon are 200 milligrams, so that's like 2.5 cups of coffee. A cup of coffee is like 80 milligrams, so it's like 2.5 cups of coffee, basically.
Yeah,
so that's what
too
people
much
don't
for me.
understand. Yeah, people like look it up and like caffeine pills, and they eat one, and then you're like, oh, this is fucking a lot of caffeine. Like that's a fucking shit ton of caffeine. Where you should probably cut it in half or quarters or whatever, like normal people do. It's kind of like doing cocaine. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe if
Just grind
it up, snort it up.
No. Maybe not snort it. Just throw it in your soda.
Shove it in your asshole.
Then it's just an energy
Up the
drink.
butt.
What?
Huh?
What? No? What?
More Mountain Dew.
Dude, more Mountain Dew? No, I think overall, like, to be honest, taking caffeine as a anal supplement would probably not be a good idea as well. That was, something. I've only done that once, by the way. I don't know if you guys ever, like, I had influenza B, and I had, not caffeine. It was, I had to take like a medical pill. I had to take like a medical pill up my ass, like one of those things. You know what I mean? Like where you have to like, you guys never did that? What are those called? Suppositories. Yes, I did. I had to take I was really sick. This is the sickest I've ever been in my life. It was in high school too. Like I had influenza B, which is the flu, but like it's like the pig flu or whatever. It's like swine flu. Anyway, that shit I felt like I was dying during that time. I had to take a fucking ass pill. It was terrible.
Yeah, those work though.
I don't know. I didn't do it. Like I was too much of a bitch. I couldn't take it up my ass, Like I had to I couldn't do it. But I got better. Like, I was like towards the end of it. So I was like, let's get off this topic. It's kind of disgusting. I probably should not talk about my ass pills anymore. Coffee though, I think coffee is probably the best bang for your buck. Like I think, to be honest, you're going to get good value for the coffee grinds. You're going to get good value out of your coffee maker. Like those things aren't very expensive unless you have a fucking one of those like fancy ones. What are those called? What's the fancy ones called? Keurigs, unless you have a Keurig, but those aren't worth it, obviously, and they kill the environment, so why fucking get a Keurig? If you have a Keurig, you're literally as bad as Satan, to be honest with you. But like I think like actual coffee machines are what, like $20, $30, and you know, for one of the McDonald's, like, to be honest, like I was always gonna go for I always get the light grounds because they have more caffeine in those. So I would rather get a light ground than a heavy ground, even though or dark ground, even the dark grounds taste better, medium roast tastes better. I always would get like a light roast because of the caffeine intake. Because obviously, as a pro gamer, to me, you know, having that kind of shit and having like a direct correlation to caffeine matters to me more. So to be honest, like a light roast coffee machine, probably the best way to go. Honestly, like 9 out of 10. Like coffee, easy to drink. I mean, the only downside is it's bitter, which is a downside for sure. But like, I mean, you could just add milk if you want or whatever. But to be honest, like black coffee is not that bad once you get used to it. Like if you get acquainted to the taste, it's not that bad. So to be honest, coffee is 9 out of 10. Would recommend. Tea doesn't really impact me the same way coffee does. I tried tea. Even for the show, I tried drinking tea a lot. But I don't feel like tea actually directly impacts me that much. Like, to be honest, like tea there's not enough caffeine per giant drink of tea. It'll hydrate you. But to be honest, like I don't think tea is that great. Some people like it. Some people don't even need that much caffeine. It depends on your genetics or whatever. But to be honest, tea is not that great in my opinion. I think it's fine. You know, I'll probably give it a 6 out of 10, maybe 5 out of 10. It just doesn't really. If you're looking for like the amount of liquid to how much caffeine is going to be intaked in your system, tea's not the way to go. Like there's just not that much caffeine in tea unless you get a super highly like dense tea or whatever. You know, it's just not going to be that great. No, there's some teas out there that'll do it for you. But, you know, probably not like a green or a black. Maybe black tea. Like black tea is high in caffeine. But it's not enough for me personally, like the volume. Now, the next one I'm going to talk about is Adderall. I've never done Adderall. This is like directly what can impact your game, okay? This is like substances people have taken and do take. Adderall, like we talked about with Doctor Who, like Adderall does not really, I don't know, I've never done it. You know, like I've never done Adderall. I've been tempted to in the past. Like I was like considering it. You know, I'm not going to lie. I was considering taking Adderall, but I've never actually done it because from what I hear, at least from the psychiatrist I talked to, like my brain specifically just would not do well with Adderall. Like my brain is already fucking like bouncing all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Like so many timelines fucking boom, 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 boom. It's all flying over the place. If I took Adderall, I probably would explode like mentally. You know what I'm saying? So I probably should not take it or ever should take it. But from what I hear, it helps you stay laser focused. Like it makes you very tunnel vision. It reduces your hunger and shit like that. I know a couple of our friends are on it because they have ADHD and stuff like that, or at least one of our friends is on ADHD. I won't say who, but it helps with them. You know, it helps with people that have ADHD. If you don't have ADHD, probably don't do Adderall. Like it should be that simple, to be honest with you. Like you don't know how it's going to react with you. I think a lot of these mind-altering drugs like are probably not a good idea to just take without any research on it. You know, like to be honest, I'm sure Adderall would help you, but not for Overwatch. Like there's so much shit going on. It'd probably be terrible. So just based on that, I got to give it like a 3 out of 10. Like, come on, man. And Counter-Strike, probably 10 out of 10. If you're playing a fucking game where you just have to aim all day and fucking have your fucking monitor like right in your face, you know, like fucking like right there, then, you know, maybe Adderall will help you. But to be honest, I don't think so. Cocaine, that was also on the list. I just wanted to bring it up because it's probably on the same fucking tangent. Don't do cocaine. That's my fucking... Listen, do what you want with your life. But specifically for gaming, probably don't do cocaine. Probably won't help you. They probably won't help you at all. I've never done it. Never will, probably. On that? No research on it at all. I don't think there's any fucking research. We should ask Doctor Who. But I'm pretty sure fucking cocaine doesn't help you become a better gamer. If somebody wants to disprove me, you know, if you could tell me Faker fucking does cocaine, if he does a hit before every match, you know, fucking tell me. But I don't think any pro player that I know does cocaine unless it's like a fucking party or something like that. They're not trying to like actually impact their game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, makes sense.
I mean, and we could do some trials. Listen, I mean, if you want, we could do some trials.
I don't know. I ain't doing
no
that.
trials of cocaine. No trials of cocaine over here. All right, let's move on. We talked about this one for a long time. Hopefully, we don't keep. We have so many good topics today. That's why we wanted to bring this stuff up. I feel like there's a lot of shit we could talk about. Maybe even some of the topics we'll even talk about maybe after FishStix is gone later. Maybe we're not going to limit ourselves here. You know what I'm saying? We have some good topics to talk about today, and I think we should talk about them. One of them being is a question we've been asked before, and a question that we've seen before. It's, should age matter in esports? Does being a certain age or should that impact your eligibility to compete in esports? That's the question that Anders Vidring, I don't know how to say it. It's a Danish last name. Anders, sorry. Anders makes sense. Danish name. Verjang. Maybe I'll get fucking the friend to help me pronounce it, because I'm sorry I can't. But basically, a 14-year-old kid from Denmark, he hasn't lost like 450 matches in a row. 450 FIFA soccer matches in a row in the Weekend League FIFA tournament that he plays in. He hasn't lost 450. Now, I don't know how exactly, if that's what the article said. That could be fucking wrong, and I could be absolutely wrong. But at least the kid does compete at the highest level and is one of the best FIFA players in the entire world, yet he can't compete in the major tournaments because of his age. Where in the article, he was comparing how 13-year-olds, for example, can compete in Fortnite, but he's a 14-year-old kid and can't compete in the top FIFA tournaments. What's with that? And I think it has to do with law. Like, it depends on law, and it depends on how many companies are willing to take a risk on it. I think a lot of these companies, a lot of these esports organizations, these TOs are not willing to like take a chance on it, because you could get fucking sued, you know? Because if you're competing for money, in the eyes of the law, that's seen a little bit weird, because when you're playing video games for money, it's seen like working, basically. You're working for that money, which, you know, kind of makes sense, I guess. It can either be seen, it's been interpreted in multiple ways, at least in Arizona. Until recently, I don't know if this is entirely true, but I know in Arizona, the state that I live in America, you can't actually, or you couldn't compete in collegiate esports because it would be considered gambling, right? I think ASU had that problem where it'd be considered gambling, and like the old, you know, fucking whites of the top of the system, that's older people that don't understand video games. They're like, oh no, we don't want this because it's gambling, or they come up with excuses pretty much to not compete, is what the whole thing is. It's honestly true.
Even if there's no money in the matter?
No, if there is money in the matter, I think only if there's money in the matter, then it impacts it, if I'm not mistaken.
So
technically,
you did do it with no money, then it would have been fine.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and I think it's been like the wordage has been changing, but for the most part, like scholarship opportunities and stuff like that have been squandered because people don't want to invest in collegiate esports. Like collegiate esports has been like kind of going against the grain, and even age in esports is kind of weird because there's top players these are prodigies basically. Like these are fucking young prodigies that are seen just because of their pure talent. Like age aside. Like, you have people like Sugar Free, you have Anders here, you have people like Booga even that was 16 at the time. Like, you have these super young guys that are really good at gaming and are like prodigies, you know? And it's like, the question is, should they compete? Should they be allowed to compete in esports if they're not of age, you know? Is it because of the law that they're against it? Is it because of law that they're not allowed to play? Or is it, you know, because people are scared to play against them or whatever, you know? Probably not that. It's probably not the case at all. But Anders said in the article, he basically was like, okay, things should be, you know, treated fairly. Like, it should be looked at on skill if somebody should be competing in a tournament, not on age. And that's like his biggest, you know, qualm with it, is that you can't compete if you're underage. And I guess it's like a law thing. I don't know. Like, it has to do with law, people being scared, you know?
Yeah, like if those laws are probably good in a sense that, like, we don't want child labor and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But as a result, like, there's probably a lot of opportunities that I guess little kids, maybe this is his prime and he can't get a cent out of it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it's interesting. There's like paths that he can go to make money, like if he gets sponsorships or whatever. Like, that's the weird part, is he can still get sponsorships, I think, but he can't actually make money through tournaments and shit like that. That's like the weird part. Or he can make money through tournaments that allow it, basically. That's like the strange part, yeah.
So there are tournaments that have like under 18-year-old kids?
Well, for example, if you go to Overwatch and Overwatch League and Overwatch Esports, if you're under the age of 18, you can't compete in Overwatch League because of workers' law and stuff like that or whatever. But they can compete in Contenders, which is like an open tournament where anybody can compete in it if you play well enough or whatever. So you can be like Sugar Free could be 14 years old, for example, in Overwatch and compete in contenders. And I think he has over $100,000 just won out of like pure winnings. Sugar Free does in contenders. Yeah, because he can only compete in contenders. He can't compete in Overwatch League because he's not 18. So he competes in contenders. He's a 14-year-old prodigy that's just really good at Genji and a couple of these other heroes. And he has a lot of money saved up. It's just he can't compete at the highest level where he would actually perform really well. But this kid's like insane, bro. Like, so I just did my reaction time before I started the show. I thought my reaction time was slower than this because I'd taken reaction time tests before. I was like 175 reaction time. But I took it before I started the show today. And I'm actually at like 150s. I'm in the 150s MS reaction time right now. No troll. On the human reaction, on the human benchmark test, I'm in the 150s. And Sugar Free is literally, are you doing it right now, Anthony? Are you doing the reaction time test right now?
Maybe.
Fucking hell. Tell us what you get. Tell us what you get in the meantime. Sugar Free has like 125 MS reaction time. Like, that's fucking insane. To have that low reaction time. Like, this guy is some sort of genetic freak or something. Like, he's so good at gaming. Now, I don't know if he would make it in professional Valorant. I think he tried or is trying. But at least in Overwatch, like, the kid's insane. Like, he's fucking insane. He's so good at the game. But he can't compete in Overwatch League because he's not 18.
Hopefully he's 18 before, like, Overwatch League dies.
No, that's the joke. That's why he has to go to Valorant or something like that. Is because this is what I've been telling people. Like, you need, in order to be a professional player in esports, you need to change games. Like, you can't, if your game is going to be out for a couple years, by the time that you're, 14, 16, like, that game probably, even if you like it, like, that game probably won't be a professional esport. I'm sorry. And I know there's a lot of, that's the thing. It's like kind of like bodybuilding. Like, okay, if you think about it, you're probably like a normal kid. You're like, I want to be a bodybuilder at 14 years old, you know? Not, like, the normal human's not thinking they want to be a bodybuilder at fucking 14 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not normal. I did not fucking think I wanted to be a bodybuilder at 14. Most people didn't. But there are people that literally take fucking testosterone and steroids and fucking SARMs and shit at 14 years old. And they, you know, because they want to be a bodybuilder, because some of these people have dreams to be a bodybuilder. It's like that. You know, some of these people at 14, 15 years old, 13 years old, 12 years old want to be a professional esports player. And it's probably more common than you'd think to be 14 years old and to be a, you know, to want to be a professional esports player. And they just can't. So I would recommend to anybody, not that there is many people that are 13 to 14 years old that watch the stream or show, but, you know, if I was your age, I would honestly just keep playing a video game. Try to get as diverse as you can, like play as many games as you can, and then start to kind of hone which game you want to be good at, FPSs, MOBAs, strategy games, or card games, whatever, by the time you're 18, so that when you're 18, you'll actually be ready to compete at the highest level. So you got to kind of diversify your portfolio, get good at a lot of games, and then kind of just wait and lurk for the next big game to come out, because there's always one that's coming out. There's like always going to be a top game that comes out that you could be a professional player in, that you, if you just grind your ass off and just like play as much as you can till that game comes out. Because to be honest, Valorant's out now, and if you haven't been on the Valorant hype train, then I would say people that are 16, 17, that age, probably have a good chance to be a professional Valorant player. If they started at the very beginning, if they started when Valorant came out, or even now, they have a good chance if you're actually destined to be a pro player, or have the talent, or have the work ethic. You could be a pro player in Valorant, I think. But if you are 14, you know, or 13 or whatever, Valorant probably isn't going to be the game you're going to go pro in. It's probably not, you know? Like, you're probably going to have to wait for the next game after Valorant to come out to then play professional. But if you like Valorant enough, if you like some of these games enough, then fuck it. Just do it, you know? You might as well. I don't see why it would be a bad thing to just go ahead and try to play professional Valorant if it's the game you love and the game you enjoy, you know?
Yeah, well,
to be honest.
To be an esports pro, you pretty much have to like the game you're playing anyways, so.
Well, I mean, do you? That's the question. Like, do you? Because
did you not play Overwatch because you liked Overwatch?
Originally, or like you mean in general?
So you're saying that originally you did, but now you don't? Or like when you played, you didn't?
I think it's mixed reviews here. I'm glad you're bringing it up, Manx, because I think it's mixed reviews. Because I was trying to, like I said, in 2016, when I was turning 18, I tried to play Doom 2016 professionally, which Doom was never going anywhere. For people that are curious, that game was not going to have a competitive scene. And I was convinced it was. So then I kept playing and playing and playing, and Overwatch beta was out, and I was kind of ignoring Overwatch because I was like, okay, Overwatch is probably not going to be that big of a game, you know? I was like, okay, is this game really going to be as big as people were hyping it up to be? Do I really care? Because like when I watched the game, I was like, this game looks like dog shit. You know, like I looked at the game, I watched the game, and I was like, this game doesn't look good to me. Like it doesn't look fun. But then I played the game and I actually liked it and enjoyed it. But the only reason that I even put my foot in the door and tried to play Overwatch is because, you know, it had backing, basically. It had Blizzard. It had them saying, like, okay, we're going to have an Overwatch league. We're going to have a league. You know, this is going to be a professional esport. That was really the only reason I played Overwatch or gave it a try, was because I wanted to play the game professionally. So I don't know. Is that bad or good? I mean, it didn't end up long-term for me, you know? It didn't end up long-term, you know? I like 2-3 years down the line or 4 years down the line, like me, you could end up burned out, not like the game anymore, and that's fine. You know, that could end up like that could be how you are. Or you could play with the game for a long time, you know? Who am I to judge? I mean, I made it as a professional player by trying to play esports professionally. Like that was the only real reason I got into Overwatch. So why couldn't you? You know? Why couldn't you? Like, fuck it. You don't need to love the game. You need to love the game type, I think. I think that's important, Max. Is loving the game type first, before the game. Because you don't know what game is going to come out. So that's why I said if you specify your portfolio to, like, be focused on, you know, FPSs or MOBAs or card games or whatever, if you find which genre you like most, I'd say pursue that one, you know? Because I naturally am better at FPSs. Anthony here, he's naturally better at FGCs and fighting games, right? Like, Anthony's better at FGCs and fighting games. Max is probably also better at FPSs, right? Or just dog shit at games in general. I mean, listen, Max, true. I don't mean to judge you too bad, but would you say you're dog shit at video games?
Yeah, probably.
Well, you were always more of a single-player game kind of guy, right? Or did you always play multiplayer games and you just weren't good?
I mean, I found more enjoyment in single-player games, I guess.
Yeah. Because that's where we differ. Because I think myself and Anthony, or maybe not Anthony as much, at least myself, when I play multiplayer games, I'm like, I just get more enjoyment out of playing with people, I guess. Whereas for me, it's hard to get invested in storylines and single-player games and stuff like that. It's just a personal gripe, you know? Yeah, everybody has preferences. Max single-player games, Anthony FGC, and, you know, fighting games, and then myself FPSs. Like, I just feel like people have their preferences, and you should probably lean towards those preferences unless you're just complete dog shit and will never make it as a professional player. But you should know that. You should be real with yourself, you know, and not be delusional. Because there's a lot of people that were very delusional with Overwatch that tried to play the game professionally but just never had it in them for literally years. Like, they just persisted and still persist. There's still so many people that are attempting to make it as a coach or a player in contenders or whatever that I respect that they're going to be on the grind or whatever in tier 2. Like, I respect it. But you should be real with yourself in understanding that you're not good enough, you know? You should be real to yourself as a human to understand your strengths and to understand when you can't make it as a professional player. Because this advice is just for people that actually like have the drive and willpower and understanding that they have the work ethic to make it as a professional player and can actually do it. And you can't really determine that. That's really only on you to determine. Like, that's on you, the viewer, to determine if you can make it as a professional player. It's not on me. It's not on anybody else. You need to be real with yourself, you know? Because the only one that can determine how good you are at a game is you, you know? I mean, people will look at you, the social structure, everything will be there. But if you're not good enough, you're not fucking good enough, and you should be aware of that situation. You know, it's not like I've never had my doubts. You know, it's not like I've never had my doubts that I wasn't good at games or whatever. But like for the most part, I was pretty confident. Like, obviously, when I got into Overwatch League, I was a pretty confident player. Like, people know me for my trash talk and shit like that because that was because of my confidence. Like, I thought I was the best player in the world. You have to have that mentality that you're literally the best player in the world. Otherwise, you won't make it, you know? Otherwise, you can put up on a face, you can go into the public and be like, guys, I'm a professional player. Everybody's great. Everybody's fantastic. Oh my God. Carpe's so good. Jonak, oh my God, he's such a good player. He's so amazing. In all these reports, I'm going to talk about how amazing these players are. But you're fucking lying, okay? If you don't have the goddamn willpower, the fucking motivation or drive to actually be a top player in the league and to think you're the fucking best player, you're probably not. You're probably not going to be the best player. You're probably going to be dog shit, you know? Like, you have to have this killer fucking mentality to make it as a top level pro.
So
that's just how it goddamn works.
You got to lie to yourself.
You don't. You kind of have to lie to yourself in a way. Like, you're kind of right. Like, you do have to lie. Like, but the thing is, that's not a lie.
I remember a couple years ago, like someone asked you if you were the best support in the world, and you said yeah.
Who said that? Wait, did I?
Yeah, you said that. It was like privately, but yeah.
Oh, it was privately. Okay.
Were you like,
if it's,
were you actually lying there, or did you actually believe that?
No, I believe that. Yeah, I think I believe that, but you have to have this belief in yourself. I think people don't understand that. They just think it's stupid. You have to have a belief in yourself that you're like one of the best players,
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of stupid to believe otherwise because, it sounds stupid and it sounds stupid at the moment, but guess what? Thinking I was the best player in the world got me to Overwatch League. Thinking I was the best player in fucking Overwatch got me 2 seasons in the Overwatch League, got me in the Atlanta Academy, got me into areas where it wouldn't have got me if I fucking didn't believe. And I'm sure people, like, there's a few players that are exceptions that have, a little bit more, of their ego aside or whatever. But look at all the San Francisco Shock players. All of their players think they're the best players in the world. Literally all the San Francisco Shock players think they're the best player in the world. And the ones that haven't are, to be frank, not on the fucking team anymore. If you look at Nevix, he's no longer on an Overwatch League team, I think, in general. He's not on their team. He was a nice guy. Nevix was a nice guy. But guess fucking what? Being a nice guy doesn't fucking get you first place in the Overwatch League. Being the fucking nice guy doesn't make you the best player in the NBA. Being a nice guy doesn't get you anything besides public rep. But what the fuck is public rep going to do for you if you're not winning the Overwatch League, if you're not going for championships? You know what I'm saying? It's just, that's how it works. You have to have that winner's mentality. Super can attest to this. XQC can attest to this. Every top-level athlete, so professional player, can attest to this. Work ethic and understanding that you can make it are the two biggest things. Like, you can't deny that, right? Is there any, what's the counter argument? What's the counter argument, Max Tranth? Do you have one?
Nope.
I
It's
don't know.
tough.
You show yourself as disingenuous, but who cares about that, I guess.
Yeah, really, because to be honest, when I started doubting myself and when I started to realize, okay, then I don't want to do this full time, then I'm not in the Overwatch League anymore. I decided I don't want to be in Overwatch League anymore. It's not really in my fucking my toolkit, my real life toolkit to be a professional player. I fucking realized that and I moved on. That's how life works. You got to realize you're not fucking good at something, or you've been outmatched, or you don't have the work ethic you used to have, or whatever, and you got to move on. That the problem is in Overwatch, and the Overwatch team specifically, in a lot of video games, a lot of the Valorant people that are trying to make it professional players fucking don't have the same work ethic or drive or whatever that they did years ago. And people are delusional and fucking keep lying to themselves for a long time. And I understand I was delusional, but my delusion got me to Overwatch League. If your delusion isn't getting you anywhere, it's probably fucking hardcore delusion, and you should move on. Like, that's honestly the hard truth that nobody wants to hear, but they probably should. Like, they probably should hear that shit.
But like, you just said that you have to have that delusion to get to the league in the first place, though.
Yes, you're right. But that's why I try to mention that, like, if you have that delusion, if the delusion doesn't work out with you within the first fucking couple years, you should quit. Like, if it doesn't work out for the first few years, probably should quit.
What, 2 years for that?
It took me 2 years. Yeah, it took me 2 years. And I
so
thought...
you were right at the edge of quitting.
Yeah, I was right on the edge of quitting and going to college and, doing something else in my life. Because if I didn't have tryouts for Boston Uprising or the Atlanta Reign, I probably would have tried something else. Like, I would have tried going to college or whatever, and I would have admitted I was wrong and moved on with my life. But, I got paid, and that's what mattered most. I got paid within the first 2 years. And the reason... So, honestly, in my career, I always... people always say they're unlucky or whatever, but I honestly did attribute kind of what happened to being unlucky, Like, I kind of attribute... Because... With my own team, because I had a very abrasive personality to a degree. So, in the very beginning of my career, I was like raw and super talented, but I would get nervous in matches and stuff like that. Like, I would be nervous in situations where I probably shouldn't be, and I would look worse than I am. But, because of those situations, players didn't want to move on with me, and I created drama basically within the team to some degree. Where, for example, on Temple Storm, when I was on CLG, like I said in the past, and Temple Storm was going to be a team, and I wanted to be on a team that was getting paid. I was about to be on a team that was getting paid as a DPS player, but they took the players that were more well-known and had more history and stuff like that weren't necessarily as good as me, but had more history, and there was some, internal strife between us, like, between Hui, Mini, or whatever, and there was, they might have not been as good as me or whatever at the time, but they had the relationships, they had the contacts, to get hooked up by Temple Storm and stuff like that. So I didn't move on with them, If I got moved on with them, that's already strike one. I would have been on a professional team that was getting paid. I would have got paid within 6 months of being a professional player, being a top-tier player. That's the case. That's what would have happened. But that didn't happen, and then I moved on to Method, and I was trying out for Flex Support, And then I didn't get the position because it was literally my first game on Flex Support was like 2 days after I started practicing. So they didn't pick me up because obviously I was new at the role. I wasn't that good yet. That's just how it is, you know? Then that's kind of unlucky to a degree because I decided to switch too late or whatever, you know? Then it moved on. I get a tryout for fucking Selfless Gaming to be a DPS player for them. And then I have 200 ping in all of my tryouts. Like I had literally a bajillion ping during my tryouts. Fucking for both of my tryouts. So I didn't get a fair shot and they moved on. They didn't pick me up and that's how it is. You know, that's how it moved on. It just happened to be, it took me 2 years to actually get into a position where I would be in Overwatch League. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't know. I think overall that just got kind of unlucky and I think this is kind of true. You know, I mean, to be honest, because it obviously was unlucky because I ended up in Overwatch League, you know? Am I wrong? Is that delusion in itself? Am I being delusional right now as we speak, Max and Anthony?
Aren't you always?
What do you mean? I'm pretty fucking self-aware, man. Come on, give me a break. Am I not self-aware?
You are. I'm just fucking with you.
Listen, I know that actually is a complaint people have about me. People on Reddit and stuff like that have said that I'm not very self-aware. Listen, I understand. We push the ego aside, okay? We're running a small show over here. We're trying to get our foot off the ground. You know, we're trying to make baby steps, okay? We're being self-aware. Okay, I understand we're not where we could be in a year from now or where these top people are right now. You know, it's just like, come on, man. Obviously you have to be self-aware in these situations. It's just some people are that self-awareness kind of comes with age, I suppose. I don't know. With Overwatch and that kind of shit and not making these other two teams, yeah, I don't know. Well, we have other topics, but I think we're going to talk about them. If you guys are down, honestly, we can check with the crew. But if you guys are down to talk about them after FishStix is done. Would you guys be down to extend the show?
Let's do it.
All right. We'll extend the show today. After FishStix, we'll have some other topics. We'll see what the staff actually thinks in the background. They'll let us know. But in the meantime, let's introduce your boy into the channel. All right. We'll get him in just a second. Let me take a sip of water while Max sits there with his, you know.
Yeah. My reaction time still 160. Look, you know, not boomer yet.
160, not boomer yet. What? It's not going down. What's yours, Max? Did you do it?
Uh-oh.
Oh, no. What is your reaction time, Max? Mine's 155. Anthony's is 160.
I'm at least sub 20 or 200.
You're 200. You're 190s?
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
I mean,
it's better than
not
average
bad.
still.
I think average is 200, isn't it?
Is it? But that probably
it's like average is like 210.
Like
average is 210?
Might be. I don't know. Might be 250.
You can check. It's on that website. If you have the website still up, it says on the website. It says on the
it looks like
reaction time
around
tracker.
225.
Okay. All right. Well, if FishStix is ready, we'll get him in here, boys. Our guest today. Doing the intro. Is he ready? The guest today is a founding member of Twitch, an OG of the community, and the CEO of Juke GG. FishStix, let's go!
Let's go. Hey, long time no talk, man. Thanks for having me on the show. We've done podcasts before, but it was a long time ago. Different era.
That was a different era indeed, man. Well, you guys had the podcast at the time in Overwatch, you and Shanman, right?
Yep. Now we're co-founders.
What was the actual show called? The actual podcast?
It was called The Overview. The Overview.gg. Overview, yeah.
Those were the days, man. You guys had the whole picture on Lejang Tower and stuff like that. Those were good interviews.
Yeah.
Man. We missed those days.
I do too. I love talking about esports. So I'm glad that you're having me on the show so I can do that.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming. We'll try to talk about esports and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think a big reason that you specifically on Twitter have been mentioned a lot recently as well is because of the Twitch like the Twitch ad revenue and the ads and stuff like that. All of that stuff happening recently. Could I ask you to I know this is kind of a broad question, it's going to be hard to kind of explain, but could you give like a dummy's guide to what the fuck's happening on Twitch, basically?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, so if you're following me on Twitter or you're following various people on Twitter, you may have seen a post I put out there yesterday or 2 days. I don't even remember. Yesterday, maybe 2 days ago.
2 days ago, yeah.
Yeah, so essentially I was commenting on the fact that Twitch seems to apparently be trying to kill their embed player. And what do I mean by that? So obviously, Twitch has an embed, which any developer can use on their third-party website. And this has been a really important key aspect of Twitch since day one. In fact, I mentioned this in my thread, but embeds back in the 2010s, 2011 or so, actually led to Twitch launching in the first place. If you're an old school esports fan, then you probably started by watching StarCraft 2, or that was one of the games that got you into esports, perhaps, if you're part of this new generation. And you may have found your first StarCraft 2 tournament or stream on the Team Liquid sidebar. So embeds are a core part of Twitch's DNA. It's a great way to build discovery around specific games, specific communities, specific niches, and that API that Twitch made available all of these years is now being kind of hamstrung by Twitch themselves. About 2 months ago, they started to do something that was really, really disruptive to if you're watching a stream on an embed, which is pop up what's been called now the purple screen of doom. It's basically this uninterruptible 30-second display, which is bright purple, cuts out all the audio, and you can't close it, and it's there for 30 seconds. Now, that sucks. The first 30 seconds, you can't do anything, but it actually shows up every 15 minutes. So if you're watching an embed, you could be right in the middle of a team fight and it pops up. Or your favorite streamer could be saying something hilarious and then like you don't get the punchline. So it goes from being like slightly disruptive and annoying to like actually game breaking. And they've done this now on every single embed, no matter where it is, whether it's on Juked, which is the company that I co-founded with Chan Man, or Team Liquid, or Salty Bets, or any site that's using embeds is going to be disrupted by this. And we felt like it was time to say something. I truly didn't want to be the person to say something, but felt like I had to.
Yeah. No, I mean, that makes sense. It's just the purple scream of doom is just not something you want to see. Like, it's just very it's probably the most disruptive thing in all of content. And that's crazy because, to be honest, ads are literally everywhere these days. And that itself is kind of disruptive. But I mean, everybody knows, like, if you get an ad, that's fine. It's a part of the fucking program. But now you get this shit and you're like, what the fuck, man? I'm trying to watch my favorite streamer. I want to clip this moment. I want to be a clip chimp. And now you can't. Now you're screwed over, right? And it's just shitty. It's honestly shitty.
It's super shitty, and it's really unfortunate because as a developer ourselves, as Juked, we would be fine with ads playing on our streams. Ads, nobody likes ads, but I understand Twitch has to make money. The problem is we have no option to even opt into ads if you're using an embed. This is what you get, and there's no way to get around it. And we've been in constant contact with Twitch over the last 2 months. We made an extremely good faith effort to try and work something out, either individually with Juked, ideally, like they just roll this back for everyone. And we couldn't get there. So felt like this might be the best way to actually affect change, is put it out there and see if we can make something happen.
Well, so I had a question for you. I don't know if you don't want to answer, that's totally understandable. This is one that just came to mind, FishStix. You worked at Twitch, obviously, back in 2011. You were pretty much one of the founding fathers of Twitch and of Justin TV and stuff like that. So when people, this is kind of the joke these days. It's like, okay, Twitch is becoming more corporate ever since Amazon's been involved and stuff like that. Do you think that it's because of the top down that everything's been happening, not because of the actual, employees, the people at Twitch? Is it because of the corporate situation they're in?
Yeah. I mean, I can only speak with conjecture at this point. I've been out of Twitch for about 2 years now. Yeah. But one of the things that it's pretty easy to connect the dots, maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 months ago, I can't remember exactly. There was an article that came out that said Twitch's mandate now is to earn $1 billion in advertising revenue per year. And that the reporting said that they're like 250, 300 million, something like that. So if you put 2 and 2 together, they've got to double, triple even their current ad revenue to get to that goal. And that's the goal that I guess Amazon has set for them. So unfortunately, Twitch made the decision to not show advertising in embeds. So they're not going to get any ad revenue actually from an embed player. So to me, it seems pretty clear. You connect the dots from one to the other, and it's like, they just want to push people to Twitch so that those ads actually do show up.
So is that's the main purpose, is just to push them to Twitch? Is it also because of potential like advertising like conflicts that they could have? Like if their Twitch, for example, is embedded in another website like Juked, but say Juked has a sponsorship with somebody that is against their current ad site or whatever. Are they trying to like avoid lawsuits or something like that?
Well, that's one of the reasons why ads don't show up in embeds today. I think there's this perception that you have really sensitive advertisers that don't want their brand in front of another brand, or they don't want their brand on unsavory website that's looking sketchy or whatever. You know, like Dusttin, Bowerman.com, whatever. It's a super sketchy looking website.
Oh, I thought you were about to say I was on Pornhub or something. I was like,
exactly.
Oh my God.
And that's kind of the genesis of this, as at least my understanding is that's why we don't see ads on embeds. But YouTube can do it. There's ways to work around this. Like, you can work with programmatic ads that it's a little bit like less restrictive, and you can make it work. If YouTube can do it, then Twitch can do it.
Yeah. Well, in speaking on that fact, I mean, you could probably attest to this, or I guess this is a good question that I have for you. Well, specifically with YouTube, as you mentioned, they're kind of the main rival now, obviously, to Twitch. And there's been some rumors that, obviously, I think what was the one that was reported today? Google's something to do with Google was shut down recently. I think another live streaming platform was basically shut down or went out of business. But it was along the same lines of Mixer. Basically, like some of these other websites have been, along with Mixer, have kind of fallen to the wayside. But it seems like Google, or in YouTube specifically, is the actual only main, rival to Twitch. And do you think there actually could be, besides YouTube, besides anything else, do you think somebody could actually make a platform that can rival any of them, or is everybody just way too late to the game?
I'm telling you, man, it is so hard. You need to have incredible infrastructure, incredible technical prowess to produce a stream that can be viewed by millions of people. That's not something that a young upstart can do without hundreds of millions in funding. But we've seen that before. We've seen Own3D throw millions and millions of dollars at trying to beat Twitch. We've seen Azubu throw millions and millions of dollars at trying to beat Twitch. We've seen it happen over and over and over again over the last 10 years. So every single time I read a YouTube comment or a tweet comment that says like, "Oh, Twitch is this monopoly. I wish they had more competitors," I have to chuckle a little bit, because every single step of the way there have been legitimate competitors to Twitch. The thing that Twitch has, though, is this infrastructure backbone. And now it's even bolstered even further by Amazon, that is going to allow them to sustain this traffic. But they also have this incredibly huge community of people coming to Twitch every single day. And if you're not on Twitch, then you're not going to be seen by as many people, because a lot of people just go to the Twitch directory to see what's happening. By the way, this is one of the problems that sites like Juked and third-party developers who embed streams are trying to fix. They're trying to help for discovery for individual games and individual communities. But I mean, to your point, I think it's going to be really tough to knock down Google, Amazon. Facebook is trying to do it too. Microsoft did kill Mixer eventually, but you're literally talking about the 4 biggest tech companies in the US, in the world, all going for this, and it's really tough to knock them off.
Do you think that Twitch has like this too big to fail mentality at this point now? Because I mean, we've seen it all on like Reddit, on live stream fails and stuff like that. Like, they're all like pretty much pissed off. Nobody's happy with what's going on Twitch, because for one, of this, the purple screen of death, but for two, because Twitch is trying to take their community and change it, like they're trying to go for this more family-friendly, kid-centric thing, which is totally understandable, obviously, because now they're ran by Amazon, and obviously that's the target demographic if you want to make the most money. But, obviously it's kind of, there's a lot of backlash. Could Twitch still fail? Like, do you think Twitch actually could still collapse to something like YouTube?
I mean, I think anyone who sits atop the throne is eligible to be knocked off. If you're talking about the long term, I cannot imagine a scenario where Twitch gets knocked off, even from being number one in streaming for games anytime soon. But look at YouTube and look at the growth of YouTube live streams over the last couple of years. In esports and outside of esports, they're growing incredibly quickly right now, and there's a lot of regions where they're stronger than Twitch. I mean, a lot stronger. There's actually games where they're a lot stronger. So YouTube is much bigger for mobile streaming, for mobile games. In Brazil and certain parts of LATAM, YouTube is much, much, much bigger already. In Asia, of course, you've got massive platforms owned by Tencent and the giants out in China that are just as big as Twitch for the Chinese audience. So I think Twitch is going to be great for a long, long time. In fact, Twitch's numbers are better than ever. Viewership is just continue to go up and up and up. But never say never. I think if you think about the long term, anyone can be knocked off, including Twitch.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And that kind of brings me to my next question for you, FishStix, is with specifically on Juke? Because obviously you've worked with Twitch in the past, and now you've created your own website. What was the entire foundation? What was the purpose of creating Juke GG for you specifically?
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to make it easier to engage with esports. If you're a fan of any individual game, you know that there's probably a community site that you can go to. If you know, I know probably a fair amount of the people watching this are Overwatch fans, and you can go to overwatchleague.com and find most of that information that you need. But if you're somebody who actually follows multiple different esports, you have to then go to overwatchleague.com and then HLTV and then Smashboards. And then even still, you're finding disparate, half-assed solutions a lot of the time. So our goal with Juked is really to create a single community hub where every single kind of esport fan can congregate, get together, communicate, have a sense of community together. Our vision for Juked is really to be the social network for esports fans. And of course, we're not just saying, hey, we're Facebook, but a different skin, and yeah, it's just gamers. No. The core product of Juked is still robust schedules, news, scores, stats, stream embeds, past matches and VODs, reminders when your favorite teams are going live. But you're also going to be able to comment on every single news article and see what your friends are posting about every article. You're also going to be able to join a team fan group for Cloud9 or Team Liquid or the San Francisco Shock. So that's really our vision. If you go to juke.gg today, you'll see that we've really created what we think is the best way to discover and watch esports tournaments. But our long-term vision is much more to become the social network where esports fans come together to grow this community.
Wow, yeah, that's cool. Because to be honest with you, I mean, this is one of the first times I'm even browsing. Like, this is not even like an advertisement or anything like that. Like, FishStix decided to show up the show. He's just like, hey, I'm going to show up. Like, this is the first time I'm actually like scrolling through the website. And the fact that you even have a calendar already puts fucking steps ahead of most other websites, to be honest. Because, like I said, for our show specifically, we're trying to kind of encourage that same thing. We're like trying to spread out, you know, into multiple esports space. So the fact that you guys even have a calendar already is amazing. Because to be honest, there's like, if you look up like esports calendar on Google, there's like, there ain't jack shit. Like, they're so random throughout the whole damn thing. And just to have something like that is actually awesome. You know, just small shout out. Not trying to suck your dick too much here, but I mean, it is amazing.
I'll turn around and do the reach around for you as well, because honestly, we love what you're doing. We love this show. The moment you announced it, I DM'd you and was like, go for it, dude. Hell yeah, I love this. Because I think, like, look, I exist and I like watching multiple different esports. You exist, you like watching and following multiple different esports. There have to be more people out there like us. And there aren't enough products and services and shows that cater to those people.
Yeah, because I think the biggest problem, I mean, I know this isn't really diverging off the topic, but I mean, like, to be honest, I mean, you probably noticed as well, like you mentioned, it's hard to find each community, and on top of that, it's hard to actually be involved, because it's not like, because every esport is kind of its own, you know, like every esport is totally different. The environment's different. The people that actually go to the websites, like a Counter-Strike fan is going to be completely different than an Overwatch fan. It's just how it is. Like, they're just kind of either more hardcore, they're not as, you know, whatever in certain ways. You know, everybody's got their own personalities, and that makes it a little bit tough to cover multiple esports or whatever. Because, like, oh, you know, who's this guy coming in my fucking scene, doesn't know jack shit, never played professionally in my esport or whatever, you know, then they get all, you know, riled up about it. It's just, like, pretty hard to find an actual, like, good, you know, community that can give you an informed discussion on pretty much what each one is. Because if you just go in blindly, you're going to be bombarded by, like, say you make it, like, I mean, I don't know, people have the same thing when you go to, like, Reddit or whatever for the first time. If you go to, like, a Reddit page and you, like, it took me years, I don't know if you're the same way, to actually comment on a Reddit thread, because I was like, holy shit, these people on Reddit, they're perfect grammar. Everybody gets mad at you for typing one mistake, you know? Like, it's hard to find somewhere where you can actually go in and feel welcome, I guess, to every esports community specifically. Because otherwise, I mean, I guess there's been websites that do it, or at least YouTube channels that do well, like the Score Esports. You know, they've officially finally made it, but that takes years to develop some sort of presence, you know, without being, you know, shit on. But you guys have like an interesting connection, because I know, is the Halo of Thought stuff public knowledge? Oh, okay, cool.
Well, I mean, he's been working with us. He's been publishing articles. We've been doing news articles covering roster changes in Valorant and Overwatch, things like that. So yeah. I mean, we've worked with him. Is there something else that I don't know about? I don't know.
No. I was just saying, because I actually tried to reach out to Halo, and I was like, hey, dude, hit me up with your inside information or whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm sorry, man, working with Juke. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, Damn, dude.
There
Okay,
you
I just
go.
gotta go to Juke to look up the actual stuff. But we mentioned embedded, streams earlier and stuff like that. And listen, I don't want to knock on anything like this. This is a genuine question for me specifically. Do you think? So when we look at numbers, on Twitch chat and Twitch streams or whatever, and you see, okay, there's like 100,000 people watching, but how many of that is embedded streams, and how many of that is like bots? Okay, I don't want to like this. I know this is like a negative topic, and if it is too negative, let me know. But it's like, does embedded viewers, do they count as actual viewers? Do they count as actually watching the game? Or do you consider that? Because I know there's like big streamers that, for example, have 20,000 people watching them, but their chat is dead. Like they don't have any people talking in chat because the stream's embedded everywhere, right?
Yeah. Since the very earliest days, people have been trying to inflate their viewership on Twitch, and there's a lot of really creative ways that you can do that. Embeds is one way. One thing that, in particular, has become a hot topic thanks to people like Slasher. In particular, Slasher has been on a crusade against embeds being used in advertising specifically. So what you've seen a lot over the last 2 years is that you'll actually stick a Twitch embed up in the header, right in the advertising atop a bunch of different websites, and you'll see that inflating viewership. I know it came out that Overwatch League had done this for their initial season. It's come out that
really?
EA has done this a lot. Cecilia on Kotaku had a really deep dive article on this. So that's one aspect of embeds, but that's like the edge case. The vast majority of embeds are used in a very legitimate way, and they're used by developers that are trying to fix a problem, trying to solve a need for a specific niche or specific community, or maybe they're even trying to build some cool kind of product around the Twitch player. I think one that, I don't know if anyone in your chat right now is familiar with Salty Bet, but Salty Bet is like this really cool product that is totally being killed by this purple screen issue right now. And they're just doing really cool shit with the Twitch player. So, I mean, there's a lot of shady ways to use embeds. You can even embed in a 1 pixel in the bottom of your website. Actually, I think they probably solved that a long time ago. But that was something that people used to do to like try and juice their numbers. And so,
Yeah, it feels like it's not as commonly talked about as much just because of the fact that, at least specifically with viewership numbers and the like, it's just because people like to inflate it or whatever people think, but there is more to it that kind of adds to the whole thing. It's like, just because somebody abuses something doesn't mean somebody else does, I suppose. It's kind of like that to the same regard. And I like Salty Bet too. I agree with you. Salty Bet's awesome. I mean, so they pretty much, it's for people that don't know, Salty Bet's what's the game called that they mod? What's it called? Mugen. Yeah. So they have random characters basically designed by the community or whatever that 1v1 each other, and you can bet fake points on them basically. And that's a little bit interesting. It's a little bit different. But I mean, do you have any? I had a quick question for you. I know we're going on about Juke too much here, but do you have any like plans specifically for Juke for the future? Like, what are you guys expanding on, or can you touch on them at all?
Yeah, I mean, we like I mentioned before, the core product today is like helping you discover and watch and follow all your favorite esports. But that's just kind of step one for us. Again, our main vision is to be a community hub where you come not just to catch up on news and find scores, but to communicate and have a sense of community with other esports fans, other like-minded esports fans, or even have cross-pollination between different games and different communities. Our vision, like, again, is to help this whole thing grow. We want to be part of allowing esports to transcend even its amazing growth that we've seen over the last 10 years. We think that it has so much more potential to be even bigger. If you look at traditional sports, it's like there's a really clear path to becoming a fan of traditional sports. Local teams, which, obviously we have local teams now with Overwatch League and Call of Duty, but relatively new. But you have your local teams, you have this infrastructure of, parents passing on their favorite local sports team to their kids. You have television channels like ESPN. You have products like the ESPN app and website. In esports, we don't yet have these channels to becoming a fan to finding out what's, to stay on top of all the news, highlights, things like that. So that's really what we're hoping to solve here. We want to be that pathway, that conduit that allows people to expand their fandom for esports, and thus esports culture itself. We want to be part of growing that.
So it's like creating the infrastructure, I guess, because we've talked about it with in the past, specifically with Korea and a couple of these other countries that are actually inflating the amount of people competing. Basically, they're just like allowing more success to come out of their country. But it's like United States and specifically Western countries aren't necessarily involved in that yet, right? I mean, like these are kind of the first original steps to creating a better infrastructure. Because to be honest, if you look at like Korea, I mean, they're just so damn good because of, and there's an article we're going to touch on later that you probably saw from New York Times talking about how America stinks at video games. I mean, like, there's a lot of infrastructure in Korea, obviously, that's not really paralleled in America because we have so many people that are just, either playing sports or not on the game or not on the computer, or they just don't have somewhere to go, like you mentioned. They can't go to a PC cafe and open up their computer and have, 100 games available to play or whatever. It's just kind of like, is different. So,
it's just not culturally accepted in the same way yet.
No,
but I mean,
no.
You got to remember, 10 years ago, it was not cool to be a gamer. It was something that you hid from your friends and family. You did not talk about it in public. And then a lot has changed in the last 10 years. So I'm pretty hopeful that it's going to continue on that path.
Yeah. No, I hope so. I honestly hope so. And you mentioned how we could probably leave it off on this one if you want for the last question. You recently made a tweet for 2021. You said what would be the best year, or you said 2020 will be the best year for esports, right? Why do you think that is? Why do you think that 2021 specifically will be a better year than esports? Is it because everybody's getting used to this online space and are kind of needing more stuff to view? Why do you think it is?
For a couple of reasons. I'm not part of the camp that's like COVID's like the best thing to happen to esports, but it certainly did provide an opportunity for some new exposure and some new growth. But I think that it's going to be the best year yet because of honestly, like Valorant being added to the ecosystem is so huge. Every single game is growing. Maybe not every single game, but most of the top 10 games are. You can maybe suss out which ones aren't growing if you think about it. But most of the top 10 games have been growing consistently. League of Legends, every single Worlds is the biggest Worlds ever. Dota 2, every single TI is the biggest TI ever. We have the biggest Dota 2 prize pool waiting for us right around the corner. Counter-Strike, I mean, Blast had 600,000 concurrent viewers a couple of days ago for an online-only tournament for a relatively modest, like $1 million prize pool, And now we have Valorant entering the fray too. And I think, every year for the last 10 years has been the best year yet. So that might be the complete cop-out answer that you weren't looking for. But I think esports, the trajectory that we're on is very, very impressive. There's a brand new game, which is going to be a top 5 esport this year. I think questionable. I don't think it'll...
Talking about Valorant.
Yeah. I don't think it'll unseat Rocket League, but I think it'll be right behind Rocket League in terms of viewership and interest.
That'll be interesting, yeah.
Yeah, so Valorant's going to do super well. And then we're going to launch a Juked mobile app. Okay, I just said that for the first time ever.
Oh, shit!
In a couple of
months.
Did
you mean to?
Well, I didn't really put too much thought into it. It just kind of flowed out of my mouth.
Cut it out!
Cut it from the live stream. Oh, shit, we're too late. But yeah,
sorry,
we're going to be part of growing this thing too.
Damn. No, I hope so. Because to be honest, at least with Valorant, my biggest concern for Valorant is, I don't know if it has what it is to be a tier 1 esport. I mean, like Counter-Strike had to take some baby steps to becoming a good game because at least Global Offensive, people didn't like in the beginning. Like Global Offensive was dog shit. It was offensive to the Counter-Strike community that played, maybe not CSS because as you know, people didn't like Counter-Strike Source that much. I loved Counter-Strike Source, but that's just because I was young and I played it. But everyone loved 1.6 in Counter-Strike or whatever. And then Counter-Strike Global Offensive came out and it wasn't good in the beginning. It took them years. Seems like the similar things happen with Valorant. They're kind of taking the right steps. I mean, I don't know if you can tell, like they nerfed the op a little bit. It was a little bit too easy to use in the future. And then now with the, whole aiming thing, people are taking offense to that or whatever. And it seems like they just need to take these steps to make it a tier 1 esport. Do you think Valorant could ever be a tier 1 esport like Counter-Strike and up there with the top 3?
It's really hard to say with confidence that it can break into like the top 3, but I do think top 5 is likely, if not inevitable, for the game. You have to remember, we haven't even seen a single international tournament for this game yet. It's only been out during the COVID era. And yeah, I think as long as Riot makes the right decisions to keep the skill ceiling high and we don't have a Brigitte kind of equivalent in this game, then I think we're going to be good. I mean, it takes a special sort of magic to break into that top 5 esport. But we're talking about Riot Games here. They have infinite resources. They've done it before. They've done it multiple times. Tencent is backing them. Every single region is playing the game. I love the fact that you have not just NA, EU, Korea, Japan, South America, and Europe as the major regions, but you literally have multiple tournaments in Latin America. You have a Turkey tournament. You have a Middle East tournament. Like, this is the scope that Riot Games is taking, and I think it's going to pay off for them. And that first international tournament, man, is going to be fucking insane. It's going to be amazing.
I hope so.
I can't wait.
I hope so. Because, I mean, like, people are saying right now that NA might even be the best, but, obviously as Americans ourselves, you know how it always ends up poorly for us. It's just how it is, man.
Never
it's just
out.
like, well, that's why, I mean, this is kind of a comment I thought of earlier. I think we talked about on the show, or we haven't just yet, but I was thinking, I was like, I don't know if you agree with me. We mentioned how infrastructure in America is not really great just yet, but I feel like a lot of America's talent, America's top talent are actually competing on consoles, right? Like, it feels like a majority of people, because first of all, PCs are high entry, like expensive entries to get into, but like consoles are so much more affordable. The average person is playing Madden, not playing League of Legends in America. I feel like even though League of Legends is the most popular game in the world, doesn't mean in America Call of Duty and Madden won't rival it in terms of just casual audience, right? It just feels like the majority of NA's talent is not really tapped into yet. I don't know. Do you agree with me?
Well, I mean, there's been a long meme in esports that just NA sucks. And in most games, you're right. In most games, you actually are correct. But Call of Duty is not one that you'd be correct. Call of Duty America shits on the world. Another one, Super Smash Brothers. American players have been at the top outside of Armada and Leffen in Melee forever. And even in Ultimate, it's mostly American players who are actually beating out the Japanese players. Another game. Let's talk about Dota 2. Evil Geniuses took a couple TIs, man. Like, and
Rip now, they're dead.
They're not doing as well now, but they had a very international roster, but a whole bunch of Americans were on that team. Look at Counter-Strike. Team Liquid has been doing great for 3 years now.
C9 won a major.
3 years. C9 won a major. So the NA sucked meme is mostly correct, but there are glimmers of hope.
Yeah, it's tough because when you think about it, I mean, at least when I think about it, like you mentioned, Call of Duty is absolutely dominated and has been dominating for a while. And it's kind of like, because it seems like Call of Duty's always been mainstream, though, right? It's like Call of Duty's always been the game people go to in general in America. And it's like when you compare it to Korea, like they have PC cafes at every corner. That means the competition will rise up. The more people using computers, the better it is, the higher the competition will be. Whereas in America, obviously, I think we still have the people here, but like we mentioned, the infrastructure is not really there. Consoles are more popular, and then you see that like in Halo, I think, even Call of Duty, obviously. More of these console games are kind of the ones where we're competing at the top, I suppose, or even Melee. But thanks for coming on, FishStix. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for talking about Juked, and thanks for talking about your new mobile app, by the way. So could you, wait, real quick before you leave, could you mention just a real quick shout out to it? I mean, what are you planning on doing with it specifically? I mean, I know you leaked it kind of here, but could you touch on it a little bit, or do you want to refrain from that?
We're taking a lot of inspiration from existing vertical social network apps out there, and I'm using a bunch of buzzwords. Please bear with me, but these are the ways that we think about these things. There's an app I have out that's called TV Time, where I can set up all my favorite shows, and it sends me a push notification every time they are airing an episode, and I can go and comment on every single episode. And there's this vibrant chat community posting memes and posting GIFs. And like I've become infatuated with this app, and I'm just like, I want this for esports, where you can find all of the news, find all of the matches, all of the scores, and, add people as friends, even make your own posts, and that will show up in other people's feeds as well. So the future of Juked is going to be very social in nature. That core functionality is still there of scores, stats, news, highlights, streams, VODs, push notifications when everything is happening. Of course, our own original content offering as well. But yeah, the social aspect is going to be a major focus of what's coming in the near future. And the last thing I'll say before you kick me off your show is that
we're kicking you out, Fish. Nope, it's over. I'm just kidding. Yeah, what's on?
If you have ever used a Twitch embed, if you've ever used it on a site like Team Liquid or Juked or Salty Bet or any other site that's helped you discover a new community or discover a new streamer or interact with a Twitch stream in a unique way, just make your voice heard on this. Like, I think we made a big splash about this issue, the purple screen, as well as the other more recent call to action thing that they popped up that you have to close. It's really quite annoying. We made a big splash about this week, but we're not there yet. We have to convince Twitch's executive team that this is big enough of an issue that it's worth reversing everything they're doing right now. They're saying some of it's an experiment, but it seems really clear to me that they're trying to push people to their site and deprecate embeds. Like, that is what this has shown to me. And I think that's anti-consumer. I think that's anti-community. And please help spread the word. Share your thoughts on it if you do have if you do care.
Yeah, no, it's definitely pretty shitty. I mean, I hope they fix it. I mean, obviously, we'll make a video on it. Probably, we'll make this a highlight to talk about it most likely. So we'll talk about it. Yeah, get everybody out there, dude. But thanks for coming, FishStix. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks for having me. I mean, I appreciate it.
I'll be definitely getting the app. I'm checking the calendar because, to be honest, I need a fucking calendar for esports so we can track this shit a lot.
You should have been using Juke this whole time, bro. Come on.
I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry. I'll get on it. I'll get on it. Thank you, FishStix, though. I appreciate it, man. We'll catch you later.
All right. Thanks a lot.
See you, man.
Yeah.
All right. Boys, what's going on? We're back. Dude, that was FishStix. He's awesome.
That's an impressive website. It's even better than Sports Center for sports.
Really? You'd say so? Sports Center's getting a little bit trashy, bro. Sports Center's gotten a little bit trashy on my ass recently. They've been posting cat memes and shit like that. I'm tired of it, bro. Get it out of here. Get my fucking goddamn cat memes out of here, dude. We had a couple more topics to talk about, by the way, but that was awesome, FishStix. To be honest, I'll be using his website a little bit more. I'll be using Juked for my own shit. Just because of personal preference. You know what I'm saying? Personal preference, because, to be honest, going to every goddamn subreddit every day is getting a little bit annoying, okay? I'm getting tired of it, you know what I mean? Having to go to Fortnite competitive, having to go to COD competitive Overwatch, going on to these fucking League of Legends they just use their main subreddit. Like, some of these fucking websites and Reddits and shit like that, they're everywhere. They're absolutely everywhere. It's annoying. We had a few more topics to touch on, though, boys. If you're down to talk about them. Literally like 3 topics. We'll try to go over them a little bit quickly, but there are some interesting ones we might have to go over on. Apparently, according to an article by GameIndustry.biz, over 50% of esports watchers bet on esports. Now, that's total bullshit, right? Like, that is fucking bullshit. There's no way you're telling me 50% of esports watchers bet on esports, bro. There's no way that you guys believe that, man. The study took only like 500 esports followers and reported on online games and not online betting, and didn't even include like betting through skins and shit like that or whatever. So they said that about 52% of people would bet, 21% of them were neutral, and 28% were unlikely to bet. Now, this is only 500 or so people, and they were also involved with like the Eagles sports books and shit like that or whatever. So I don't really know. I think it's a little bit bullshit, to be honest with you. But recently sports books have been getting into esports, and for those that don't know, sports books are basically places you can go to bet on competitive games and sports or whatever, right? Isn't that what it? Basically, the rundown of what sports books are, that's what they are, and they've been getting involved in the esports and kind of trying to make their mark. Because recently, if you guys have seen, I mean, we talked about it the other day, Max and Anthony. We talked about how Barstool Sports, for example, they have a sports book. And they recently got sponsored Nick Merckx and sponsored Logan Paul, Like, recently, they've been getting into esports more and more. And I think we got some backlash talking about Barstool Sports. So that's why my idea, free pitch Barstool Sports right here, bud. Free fucking spit.
Oh, dear Lord.
Free pitch. How about you make Barstool Esports, okay? Bring us on, the whole crew. Barstool Esports will be there for you, okay? Listen, I tried making a Twitter page to steal the idea already, so now I'm giving it to you for free. Barstool Esports, okay? You can do it.
You tried to take their Twitter?
I already
Barstool
do.
Esports?
I already own the Twitter.com at Barstool Esports. That's mine. That's fucking my at now, bitch. Come for me now, Barstool Sports.
No, they're gonna go to Barstool Gaming now.
No, come on, man. It's too
They don't
easy
wanna
to do
give you a
Barstool
cent.
Esports. Listen, man, I'm just saying Barstool Sports, you know what I'm saying? If you want somebody to sponsor, you can come to us, okay? You can email us at dustinbowermanshow@gmail.com, okay? You know what I'm saying? We'll get it going. We'll get you guys some suckage, okay? Listen, because I like betting. I have a gambling problem, okay? Okay, well, that's probably not a good thing to admit for a sports book. But, you know, GME stocks are down right now. I'm a little bit upset. That's all I'll say for that. That's all I'll say for that, basically.
Well,
The 50%, oh, yeah?
yeah, like the 52%. It could be just like, have you bet at all on esports, and you don't believe that like 52% of people watching have bet at all on esports?
I feel like you think that's true. I've never bet on esports besides for CS:GO gambling. This is talking about only betting on like sports books, basically.
Oh, yeah, I don't see that then.
So, do you think if there's
I
like
don't
skins
see it
involved?
worldwide too? Like this.
Yeah.
I don't know what the gambling cultures is around the world, but I just don't see it in like the Asian region as much.
No, yeah, probably not. You know, probably it depends on law, like we talked about earlier, like Arizona law. Like, to be honest, I don't think I would ever bet on an esports game unless, you know, I was sponsored by a sports book. Like, honestly, like for me personally, I can't see myself betting, like, because I already played esports professionally. Like, it just feels weird, you know, like betting on another competitor. Like, to me, that just feels off now. Like, before I played professionally, I think I was fine with it. But because it's in the Overwatch League contract, like, you literally can't bet on games, no matter what sport or whatever, esport, like, it just kind of freaks me out now. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a little bit like PTSD. Like, I don't want to fucking deal with that shit. I mean, Anthony, would you bet on esports games, you think?
No, probably
No.
not. I
Max?
can't do it.
No, I don't know. It's like, for me, it's like a complete gamble. I don't have nearly as much of the experience as you do. Like, you probably, like, you putting your money on the stock market is probably more of a gamble than you betting on Overwatch.
Yeah, yeah, probably. Yeah, it definitely is a gamble. I mean, like, I think Daniel's bringing up in the chat as well. Like, he's mentioning how we bet on the McGregor-Poirier fight.
Only
that was
against
just
each
between
other.
us. Yeah, that was only against each other.
Which one did you go for?
Oh,
I mean,
lost.
I wanted to bet on I wanted to bet on McGregor, but Anthony wanted to bet on McGregor too. So I was like, all right, I'll go Poirier. And then I was gonna bet. I would have legitimately bet if I could in Arizona on Poirier. If anybody has good gambling websites in Arizona that I could actually legally use, let me know, because I would have 100% bet on Poirier and made fucking, like, what is it? I would have made, like, if I bet $1,000, I would have made like $4,500 or something like that. Like, that's a good chunk of change. You know, not really taxed just yet, but I would have bet on the Poirier McGregor fight. Okay, that's all I'm saying. And listen, if a sports book wants to give us, you know, a little bit of suckage, go ahead. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead. I would love to. All right, let's move on though, boys. Twitter hot take segment's coming through. It's the Twitter hot take segment. I don't really know what an idea.
In a while.
We haven't had this in a while. It's been a little bit, even though we have taken Twitter and tweets and stuff like that. Scream says the professional player for, I think, is it G2 or something like that? What team is Scream playing for right now? I can't. Liquid. Sorry, he's on Team Liquid. Oh, he's on Liquid too. I didn't even know that. Apparently, he's on Team Liquid with the coach is Sliggy, and I know Sliggy from other ways. But Scream said that Valiant aiming is easier than Counter-Strike, which makes sense. It makes sense. We talked about this before. I think, Anthony, you've been playing a lot of Valorant as well recently, and I played a little bit as well. The reason he said it's easier is because of the fact that movement's way clunkier. You can zoom like a fucking Ferrari and goddamn run and aim. The run and gun is a massive issue people are having with it, but apparently balance patches are coming through. They're trying to change it a little bit. But there's a lot of issues people are taking with Valorant, saying that the skill cap and the skill ceiling is not as high as Counter-Strike. It's just simply not as high as Counter-Strike, sadly, for people playing Valorant. And that's what Scream's saying. Scream's like, okay, we need to make this game better. Because, to be honest with you, Valorant is not as good as Counter-Strike, just in terms of how clean and crisp it is, right? Like you mentioned, Anthony, you want to keep playing Counter-Strike these days instead of Valorant.
That's what I've been saying ever since Valorant was like a month in. It's like, I'm tired of this game. I want to go back to CSGO. None of my friends play this damn game. They all switched to Valorant.
It sucks, yeah, because people are playing Valorant these days, and the game's getting better, I guess. But the movement's still pretty clunky, like you said, still slow. Like that's the biggest problem people are having is slow, and then on top of that, they're kind of like anti-tap. Like people on the Valorant competitive Reddit page were talking about how it feels like when you shoot the gun, when you shoot a Phantom or whatever, a Vandal, when you spray and then you take a second to try to like reset the spray or whatever, and just like to tap. It feels like you're still shooting the spray, basically. It feels like you're still like holding down mouse 1, where instead it basically is it's saying you shouldn't tap. Basically, it's like anti-tap. It's more to spray only, and it makes sense that Scream is against this because Scream is known for his one taps in Counter-Strike. His literal thing is one tap, like in this French accent. Like that's his whole thing. And he's actually the one that inspired this mouse right here, this Final Mouse, the Final Mouse Scream 1. Is this design of the Final Mouse, or I don't know what this one's called now. It's the fucking Cape Town. That design is actually the same one from Scream. So it's kind of like Scream is one of the legends of Valorant. To be honest, he's like not Valorant. Sorry, Counter-Strike. He's like one of the legends in esports in general. Like he's kind of had a huge wave just in terms of his personality, in terms of what he's done for the game, and he's not liking it. He pretty much had some pretty accurate things to say about the aim punch. Apparently, that's a big thing. Like in Counter-Strike, correct me if I'm wrong, but in Counter-Strike, when you get aim punched, it's when you don't have head armor, right?
Yep.
That's the only time you get aim punched, whereas in Valorant, you get aim punched no matter what? If I'm not mistaken, right? It's like 24. It's like 24/7 aim punch, and everybody hates it.
Tickled to the head from a pistol, you lose the duel.
The shotgun, fucking goddamn headshot, boom.
Yeah, you get
punch.
a headshot because of a shotgun. One of them hitting you in the head, you're dead. You're gonna lose the fight now.
Yeah, that's pretty shitty. It's very anti, skill, like 100%. It's just not. There's a lot of things wrong with Valorant so far. That's what we talked about FishStix earlier. That Valorant needs to change for them to be a tier 1 esport. Because right now I like all the hype. I'm getting all the hype. I understand. A lot of the Overwatch community has changed over for the Valorant community, and a lot of them is like old Counter-Strike fans and stuff like that because of the ability usage and stuff like that or whatever that's transferred over from Overwatch. But to be honest with you, there's a lot that needs to change before it becomes a top game, I think. I think it has the potential to be a top 5 game, but it could be better than that. It could be the best esport in the world if they change a few things and make it less like a fucking goddamn free-to-play, boring-ass game or whatever. You know what I'm saying? If they could change some things up, they make it a little bit more interesting, I think it would be good. All right, we have a few more topics to cover before we leave. New York Times said that America stinks at video games. What the fuck, man? Why you gotta hit us like that, dude? What the hell?
They're right.
New York Times? They're right? I mean, they are kind of right. They are kind of right, aren't they?
You came up with a couple examples where we could be considered top, but
Call of Duty,
kind of slim.
Madden. Yeah, it's kind of slim.
But they're also games that like people don't care to watch, right?
What do you say? People don't want to watch Madden, huh?
No, like who watches Madden players?
I watch Madden, dude. Come on.
Okay,
man.
well you're a fucking weirdo. Like
what the hell, man?
Like there's a reason why StarCraft and League of Legends is up there, right? Is because they're interesting to watch. They're good games. They really show like if you're good at the game, you're I don't know what I'm saying is like it shows that you're better than the other person and you can see what they're doing.
Yeah.
With each step. Like this is clearly this player is better than the other player. Like you can clearly see Cyril dominated against like Trap, right? Like it's just so high skill that you can actually see.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. And I think, yes, they are right, that at the top games, America's not great. Okay? Listen, I'm just trying to say that I agree with people on Twitter that are kind of saying that, that it shouldn't be a random article that talks about League of Legends and StarCraft 2 that says that, NA players stink. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, this specific article was disingenuous to the community, like, to even talk about it on this shit. Like, what the fuck's this goddamn writer ever written before about esports, huh? Like, what the fuck's this writer ever done before? How about you stink at writing about video games, son? How about we say you stink, huh? Fuck you, I'm offended as an American. No, I'm just kidding. They're right, though. I mean, they are right, but they were only talking about League of Legends and talked to fucking David Beckham, the guy we talked about the other day with Guild Esports. Like, come on, man. You got to at least have a better background of information to talk about esports and gaming than that. At least if you're going to say video games, you could talk about multiple titles, but they literally only mentioned StarCraft and fucking League of Legends. Like, that was it. If you're going to say that, you might as well say America stinks at League of Legends and StarCraft. How about you fucking just... That's not as clickbaity. That's just what it is. Listen, I understand. I get the whole thing that you're trying to accomplish, okay? But it's stupid. You know what I mean? Like, the whole article, part of the article says, I know some readers will wonder, people pay to watch strangers play video games against one another? This is a job? Explain how big this is. So the entire purpose of the article is to reach, like, an average person or whatever. It's, like, just not trying to reach, you know, people that are in esports. Like, this is not meant for us, this article. I get that. But we're going to read it, we're going to critique it, and we're going to say you're a dog shit writer that can't write about shit in esports. So fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? Get the hell out the esports space unless you're going to have fucking Jake Lyon or whatever, somebody that actually knows what the fuck they're talking about to go report on New York Times, because you, sir, or madam, I think it's a madam, you don't understand fucking esports, so fuck you. Get out of here, son. No, but I think they do have a point, but at the same time, there's, you know, like we mentioned, games that Americans are good at. CDL, Valorant, Smash, Fortnite even. Like, there's still some games that Americans are good at, you know? The top ones even. Some would say Fortnite is the most popular game in the world or was the most popular game in the world. And guess what? Some of Fortnite's best players are American. So how about when you look at the games that are actually popular in America, maybe look at that for what the best esports are. And that's not necessarily the top esports in the world. I think there's a difference. The top esports in the world and top esports games in America, top games in America are totally different. Like, that's just not where people lie. That's not where people are having fun. The majority of normies playing fucking any video game are playing Call of Duty or playing Fortnite. Like, that's how it is. Or even Valorant now. Like, that's kind of how it is, man. Like, people aren't necessarily... Like, it's the same... Yeah, it's the same reason Daniel brings this up in our staff chat. He brings it up how people say that USA sucks at soccer. Well, guess what? Fucking America looks at football. People play football, so no fucking shit. Yeah, no shit we suck at soccer. Nobody cares about soccer in America. Like, that's just... I mean, people care about soccer in America, but guess what? The majority of people don't give a fuck, okay? That's just how it is. It's the same way for Call of Duty and Madden and 2K and all these other games that people are playing on the console. People aren't playing Overwatch in America. People aren't playing League of Legends in America, or at least the people that are shit like me. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're the outliers, I think, in the American culture is there. It's just we don't have the infrastructure. This sounds like an excuse. We don't have the infrastructure, at least for PC games. Console games, I think, is there. Console games, people have consoles. People play video games. It's in our culture. But nobody really plays PC games like that much. At least the normies don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, the average person that's going to be talented at video games, that will be a top player, is probably playing Call of Duty or some sort of console game. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just what it is. You can't deny that. You know what I mean? Like, you can't deny that the infrastructure is just not there yet and still needs to be developed. Okay? That's just how it is. So you can't just you can outright say these, think it games, but you can't say, you have to say which ones. You can't just say fucking video games, America stinks, you know? Like, that's just bullshit. That's a fucking bullshit ass thing you'd say in New York Times, honestly. And they even typed E-sports, okay? You can tell what the fuck this writer was trying to do, you know? You can tell what this writer was trying to goddamn do. Last one today, boys. Last topic today, guys, that we're going to talk about is a very important topic to me and the gang here, because I want to do this. I would, listen, if I could rip off my shirt over here and just kind of tuck it down a little bit and write some donators' names here, that'd be great, because recently a streamer was banned off of Twitch for writing the top donators on her tits. She basically, at the top of her chest, wrote one of the donators' names all over it and immediately got banned. Immediately got banned and went to Twitter and was complaining, saying, what the fuck, man, why'd I get banned? Livestream Fails took note of this, by the way, and was a large part into them getting banned. She was basically, the whole situation was, she was sitting on her bed like this, right? She was like laying like this, you know? She was like sprawled across, you know, the table. And she was in lingerie, first of all, which is kind of strange. But I mean, I guess, you know, according to you know how Twitch works, it's like, okay, in the rules, it's like you can't be in a bikini if you're not near a pool. But if you're near a pool, you can wear a bikini. Is it like with lingerie, if you're near a bed, does that mean you can wear lingerie? You know, it's like, I don't really know how the Twitch culture works. Obviously, she got banned for it still. And she went to Twitter complaining about how Livestream Fails was targeting her and harassing her for the situation at hand. But she shouldn't even fucking be on Twitch if you're gonna write fucking names on your tits, bro. Come on, man. I would like to see, goddamn, like people mentioned on Reddit, I would like to see Moon do that shit. Or fucking Estefan or something, man. Some of these other big Twitch streamers, X2C, how about they do that? They'll probably get fucking banned too. If you're gonna do that shit, go to Chatterbait or something. Go to goddamn My Free Cams, bro. You don't have to be on Twitch. This shit's not made for that kind of stuff. It's not made for you to write people's names on your goddamn boobies, man. Like, come on, dude. You can't just do that. So she went to Twitter and was saying she was getting targeted for harassment and stuff like that. And then immediately, right after that, posted her OnlyFans. Just fucking out of the blue. She's like, hey, guys, by the way, come sub to my OnlyFans where I'm going to talk about the situation there. Like, bro. This is obviously a giant fucking scam. The whole meta now these days with some people that are, you know, usually cam girls or whatever, are going to Twitch and they're purposefully trying to get banned on Twitch. Like, they're just trying to get banned and using their nip slip or using their fucking names on their chest or whatever to try to get banned and then go to Twitter and promote their OnlyFans. Like, that's the meta now. You only get banned for a few days. Like, why not? You know? You only get banned. She got banned previously for like 3 days and now gets banned again. And guess what? She can promote her OnlyFans and make some money that way. Like, come on, man. Like, come on. This is such a fucking dumb meta. Everybody can see this from a mile away. This is the damn meta where girls and whatever, guys even on My Free Cams or whatever, will go out of their way to try to get banned on Twitch so they can promote their OnlyFans. It's like so common now. And it's just stupid. Like, this is definitely a meta strategy. All you got to do, nip slip, name on Twitch, whatever, bikini, get banned, act surprised, and then post your OnlyFans. Fucking repeat in whatever until you have a massive OnlyFans like everybody else on goddamn fucking OnlyFans, man. And she's getting hate from the whole live stream fails community. It's ridiculous, to be honest. I mean, Max Anthony, what do you guys think about the situation, man? Like, come on. You can't act surprised you get banned for writing names on your fucking boobs, man. Like, seriously.
I mean, she knows what she was doing.
Yeah, we know what she was doing. She knows what she was doing. Wouldn't she do the same for the same amount of money?
I mean, with the amount of hate she's getting, yeah, I
No
guess I
problem for
probably
me.
would.
No problem.
Yeah, that's the problem. The problem is that the infrastructure is in Twitch. It's in her favor, right? Like, it's not her fault that she's abusing the system. The system's just broken in itself. The fact that fucking Forcing can get banned for 30 days for some random bullshit, and then fucking she can get banned for 3 days for slipping a nip or whatever. Like, come on, man. Like, where's the goddamn leniency and where does it actually, like, where does it lie, bro? This is just stupid.
I mean, Twitch just needs to get their shit together. Otherwise, who knows? What's the next big platform? Let's see. Maybe Juke.
YouTube at this point, yeah. Or Juked, yeah. Or Juked, yeah. It's just kind of stupid, man. Like, I gotta be honest. Like, come on, man. You can't just be doing this shit. It's literally part of the meta. Like, at this point, if you're a girl that's just been streaming on fucking, you know, Chatterbait or whatever, and you need to make some extra money, make ends meet, go to Twitch, do a nip slip, do something, get banned, and then promote your OnlyFans or your Chatterbait on fucking Twitter. You know what I'm saying? But I have seen, by the way, I think people talk about this recently, by the way, to bring this up. Anthony, VTubers, apparently, you're going to love this. Apparently, there's actual VTubers that stream on Twitch, but also have a Chatterbait where they masturbate on their VTubing model. Isn't that fucking crazy?
Should we be talking about this here? Is this one of our topics?
I don't listen. I've never seen it. Listen, I'm not gonna lie, I've never seen it. But apparently, according to live stream fails and stuff like that, we went on the Soda Popper and then we're talking about how one of their friends is a VTuber or something like that, and how she actually also streams on Chatterbait and stuff like that. I think that's interesting. That's a change in the fucking meta I could not have seen from a million miles away, dude. I could not see that from a million miles away. Extra dough? Fucking you don't even have to show this is the meta. Somebody said this. They said, like, you lose nothing by doing this. Like, all you have to do is act like you're fucking moaning on a Chatterbait stream and just like, and then just fucking have like a model up there doing it for you. Like, bro,
what did it sound like?
This is this is legit. Make a fucking VTubing model and stream on Twitch, and then after, go fucking fake masturbate on Chatterbait, bro. It's just that easy. Listen, I'm not judging people who go to Chatterbait and watch these VTubing models. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just saying this is the meta now, is to stream on Twitch and then also to stream with that same VTubing model on Chatterbait, except jerking off, right? Isn't that that's the way to do it, right?
Yeah.
Fuck it.
just be a gamer girl on Twitch and then nudge your way towards the other sites if you want to make some extra cash. You don't have to get yourself banned.
Exactly. That's the weird part, is that they probably should get banned for this kind of thing. But it's like, where is Twitch drawing the line on this shit, man? Like, they're just not. Like, what the hell? They're not drawing the line. It's ridiculous. But we're going to draw the line here in the fucking sand right now. Until Ninja gets a VTubing model and I get to see him fucking jerk off on Chatterbait, I'm done.
Don't put that in my head, dude.
Bro, I imagine if you looked up ninja porn on fucking Pornhub, I'm sure you'll find something. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure you'll find something. There's going to be some dude wearing some blue hair and some other fucking cosplay models or something, dude. Like, I'm sure there's something out there, you know? At this point, there probably is something out there for everybody. None of that
I really hope that you're wrong. That's all I have to say. I just hope you're wrong.
Fucking look it up right now.
No,
I'm not kink shaming.
Right now.
I'm not kink shaming. I'm just saying, you know, I'm just saying. All right, this is where we fucking draw the line in the sand, though. We're going to end the stream. We're going to end the show. Okay? Yeah, we're done. We're fucking out of here. I'm going to steal the Top Gear line for every show at this point because, you know, I just love it so much. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe it's a good idea to not use this line, but on that bombshell, we'll see you guys tomorrow on Tuesday. Sign Show will be our guest. Be there. Why do you say? Stop using this shit to roast me, Daniel. I swear to God. I swear to fucking God, our director's trolling me.
I found a
Jesus Christ.
furry ninja.
For the love of God, let's not.
Max, why are you on Pornhub right now on our fucking show? Max is literally on Pornhub.
No, I'm not on Pornhub.
Then what did you find? You found Ninja Furry? What did you? What?
Just end
Explain
the show.
yourself. Thank you to Samantha, Siren, Tolberto, all the guys in the background for helping out the show. Our director, a.k.a. Tolberto, our producing manager, Siren, our research head/director, Samantha, and thank you to Max and Anthony for being dumbasses with me on the show. And thanks to myself for being also, for being great. Good job, me. Fantastic work.
Well done.
See you guys.
He's
See you guys
posted the
tomorrow.
link.
No!
In our Discord.
You did not post the link. You did not.
like it?
Where did you really?
Here we go.
No, why did you post that shit?
That's what I
Congratulations,
call it.
No!